I did want to talk about this because social media went nuts about this. About the Senior Bowl, Hendon Hooker going over to Lions personnel and talking to them and all that kind of stuff. So everybody lost their mind about Hendon Hooker and the Lions and those types of things. Not interested, Lindsay. I'm not interested at all. You have Jared Goff here for 2 years, friendly number, no exit penalty, very little exit penalty if you do want to move on. If you and look, Hendon Hooker's over there, and I'm sure he's a very fine person. I don't disparage that. And he had it cooking. He had that huge knee brace on. He's like 26 years old. Like, people talk about Stetson Bennett. Hendon Hooker and Stetson Bennett both are going to get pensions from college football. Like, they were that old. I think he's 25, actually.
Right.
But anyway, like, I believe, and I've always said this, if you're taking quarterbacks, and a lot of people, like Spenmo had on the sheet here, would you take Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round? Which I laugh at to the point where I totally dismiss that and don't even introduce it as a topic. Don't even introduce what?
No,
what?
I don't necessarily hate the idea of taking a flyer on a Hendon Hooker in later rounds. I know we just talked about how Brad Kaya didn't work out, and I understand that. But Hendon Hooker, one thing I like about him is at Tennessee in the SEC for 2 seasons, 58 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I like the fact that he doesn't turn the football over, and he had success in college. And who knows, maybe he'd be even higher up of a prospect if he didn't suffer that injury.
But he did. He did.
I know.
But he did. You see the size of that knee brace he has to wear?
And he is 25 years old. He's almost as old as Jared Goff.
Thank you.
I understand. I wouldn't be pounding the table if it happened, but I'm also, I don't know. He's kind of creeping a little bit into Brandon Weeden, Chris Winkie territory. He's not there yet, but man, I'm not going to dismiss it outright. I think he's a guy that could be a good quarterback in this league.
Yeah, Randy Briggs says if he was healthy, he's going 2nd to 4th, so he won't be there past the 4th. Then I'm not interested. Because if you take quarterbacks in the 6th round, with the exception of one ever, you're basically crumbling up that draft card and throwing it in the garbage, Lindsay.
That's what the
stats,
the history says, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think you would want a young quarterback in that quarterback room. And from watching what happened this year in the NFL, a lot of quarterbacks were getting hurt every single Sunday. So I don't know how you go about doing it. Do you get one in free agency, or you take a flyer on a young guy?
Why do people get so worked up here about the backup quarterback thing? Because let me let you know a little secret. When your quarterback gets hurt, you're cooked.
No doubt. But that's why people get so distraught about having a backup. It's not going to do you much good, but at least you have some type of security blanket. Nobody runs through 4 quarterbacks. That was a rarity. You saw the 49ers.
Right.
We were down to shucks. We were about to put the kicker in to try to
Christian McCaffrey was a quarterback.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey was about to be the quarterback. So, things you just never know. You never know, but it's always good to be prepared.
Yeah, it's just, for me, when you're going to take, and it's different, right? It cuts different in this situation with this guy, because I'm not taking Brad Kaya when I can take James Houston. I'm not taking Brad Kaya when I can take Kirby Joseph or Hendon. I'm not taking Hendon Hooker when Hendon Hooker can be Kirby Joseph. I'm just not interested.
Now, if you don't have one of those guys, and you see a prospect that probably is higher on your list, then you do that. But if you can get a guy, you go get a guy, right?
Yeah, and here's where it is too. In MMS 1346, here's where it all boils down to me. Why are you trying to draft a player in the top 3 rounds that can't help you in 2023? Just get a decent vet who will actually play. And that's where it is. That's where I am with it. Right under that, Patty Grimes says if you lose your starting quarterback, most of the time you're done. Bingo. If Goff goes down, you're cooked anyway.
No, that is very, very true. But I think with Hendon Hooker would be, to me, the type of backup that you would want. And I'm not saying you draft him for the backup. He might end up being the quarterback of the future. I don't want veteran guys like a Tim Boyle or a David Blau or a Sean Hill.
Tyrod Taylor?
Right, well, yeah, probably not him either. That have no future on the team, that are just kind of career backups, like a Chase Daniel or something like that. But Hendon Hooker, like I said, I don't hate it. But this is another one of those situations where the wheels are kind of spinning in real time. I'm also thinking about how well Brad Holmes has drafted starters in later rounds. I mean, we could name them off all day. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kirby Joseph, James Houston, Malcolm Rodriguez, Aleem McNeil even. So I trust Brad Holmes implicitly.
As do I.
I just don't think that we can just completely write off Hendon Hooker, especially if you could get him for a good value. I don't hate it.
See, I do, because I think you're throwing that draft pick away. Now, again, if Brad Holmes comes out there and says, I believe in him, oh, that's different.
Well, let's think about your the golden child, Mahomes.
Yes.
So he was drafted. They had a starting quarterback, right? KC had
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith, who was, a relatively...
He's a Pro Bowl quarterback there.
Pro Bowl quarterback. Alex Smith had a great career. And they drafted a guy that a lot of people kind of coveted. I don't think nobody thought he was as good as he is. And I actually watched some footage of people killing him during the draft.
Yeah, well, Andy Reid did think that he was that good.
No, Andy Reid and what's the coach that just got the job in Denver?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton was trying to move up to get him.
Right.
So two great quarterback minds actually thought the kid was going to be what he is, right?
Yeah.
But not many other people thought that he would be the next of the coming.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. MMS 1340, or excuse me, Let's Go Red Wings Sparty. Only if the Kentucky quarterback isn't there at 6, right, Neil? And he put the name out there. I don't say his name.
No, that I would pound the table if that happened at number 6.
Dude. Why are they hyping him up? I'm trying to figure this out.
Thank you.
I sat here in this chair, Lindsay. And
Mel Kiper, man.
I sat here in this chair, Lindsay. And I was one of the people that said, hey, this Saturday, I'm going to do it. And you probably remember this, Sam Flannel.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to lock in for this game, and I'm going to watch Florida with Anthony Richardson and Kentucky with Will Levis. And I'm tapping in. And I'm going to watch it. And they both sucked.
Yep.
And it was awful to watch. And I had to get into the Elijah Craig barrel-proof bourbon by the second quarter of that game. Just to take my mind to another place.
Right.
Anything to get away from what I was watching. And then I said, you know what? I'll be realistic. I'll give them another shot. I'll tap into Tennessee, Kentucky, and I'll watch it. And he was worse.
Of course. It was Tennessee.
He was worse.
Tennessee doesn't even have a good defense. That's the thing. Will Levis's stat line in that game, 16 for 27, 98 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Oh, good.
Spencer Rattler in South Carolina was able to put up 63 on Tennessee. So that means that Spencer Rattler's team put up 57 more points than Will Levis's team against Tennessee. That is just beyond pathetic. And not to mention, Will Levis's team, Kentucky, gave Vanderbilt their first SEC win since 2019. While going 11 for 23 for 109 yards, 0 touchdowns,
What
1
is it with this
interceptions.
guy?
I don't get it.
It's Mel Kiper, man.
But even people at this network, like Maz, for example. Let's.
That just seals his fate. Now I feel bad for the kid.
Maz says what? He's a fan?
I mean, just that they'd be okay with it. I mean, I even hear
What?
I even hear it on the morning show with like an Adam Baydoun that doesn't. I mean, they're not necessarily for Will Levis, but
They're not against it.
I mean, he's got a lot of measurables, but he doesn't.
What does that mean?
I'm not saying I agree with it. Look at the tape. He
has measurables. What?
I mean,
oh, he has big hands. Man, he has a strong arm.
They're trying to.
Oh, but he's not accurate.
I think Josh Allen has kind of I think people are trying to find the next Josh Allen, but Josh Allen is kind of a once in a generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the matter with the people at this network?
No, it's bad. I hate this guy.
Dude.
No. I've never understood it, and I'm not trying to necessarily throw them under the bus or anything. I've just heard them say that.
No, throw him under the bus.
What is wrong with you people?
Start up the bus.
No.
What is wrong with everybody here?
I don't know.
I thought we had a good thing going here. You know what I'm saying? I thought there were people. I thought we had dudes. I thought we had talent.
Hey, man.
What do they see? How? Why? Based on what? Based on what performance?
I'm telling you, man, Mel Kiper has the power. Whatever he says, people start to.
Why?
I don't know. I'm not one of those
He's
guys.
the Will Levis of draft people.
Exactly.
You know what? I got to consult my guy JB because he works on the Ermanni and Edwards show with Maz every day. Has Maz said this before? I'm not just imagining it, right?
No, you're correct. Maz has said this before.
I have to have a conversation
Maz in
with
general just says we need a quarterback. Now I say we as in the city of Detroit for the Lions. We need a quarterback. He doesn't care when you take him, who it is, but they need a
quarterback for
right
what?
now.
They have a starting quarterback.
Okay.
They have a starting quarterback.
He doesn't.
That's in the Pro Bowl.
He doesn't like Jared Goff. He doesn't
Yeah,
care for
but
Goff.
that's-
What? He doesn't like all the yards and all the touchdowns and the few interceptions. He doesn't like it.
No.
Doesn't like him based on what?
He just doesn't care.
He just doesn't care. Just quote doesn't care.
Yeah, he's a New Yorker. You know. Hey, as long as he doesn't want the kid from Kentucky, I don't care who else he talks about. But
Sean Danker says Neil needs some Elijah Craig barrel proof right now. I do. Like a half a bottle of it.
It's so sad that you actually gave he who should not be named a chance.
Twice.
I think we all did because coming into the year, we kept hearing about him. But if you tapped into the Florida and to the Tennessee game, yikes. And especially if you tapped into the Florida game, you got to see he who should not be named and another he who shouldn't be named, and Anthony Richardson. My God, that took quarterback play back 20 years. I wouldn't touch either of them with a 10-foot pole if I'm a GM.
DJ says flag football Pro Bowl stop. No, it's not that. It's the numbers.
right.
It's the numbers were Pro Bowl worthy. They were. So I don't know what else the guy can do for you guys. Like, especially too at a manageable salary, at a discount to market based on his production. That's factual. You can say what you want. Sam Flannel, mark me on this. He is a discount to market based on the way he played the position last year.
And he had arguably the best year of his career. Definitely since 2018. He was a deserving Pro Bowler. You could argue that he was the second best quarterback in the NFC after Jalen Hurts just this year. And I don't think a lot of people would fight me on it. Jared Goff he had a great season. By the season he had last year, he was a discount to market. I agree.